Do you find it hard sometimes to trust that vengeance is the Lord, that the Lord will handle the problem? Or do you sometimes feel like you need to get revenge? You need to pay them back. You could handle it better yourself. Look, as we continue on today in Judges chapter 15, I think that there's something that we can examine within ourselves because Samson, is he going to take revenge? Is he going to do it himself? How is God going to handle this? What's going to go down in chapter 15? Come on in and join me. Hey y'all, I'm Kaela. Welcome back to His Word, My Walk as we continue in the book of Judges. And what's Samson gonna do, right? We left off on a oh my gosh, let's keep going. So did you keep going? Did you keep reading? Did you read chapter 15 right after? Did you not even wait till the next day? Because we left off chapter 14 with this. So his wife was given in marriage to the man who had been Samson's best man at the wedding. What? Like the drama. So what's going to happen now? What is Samson going to do when it comes to that? How's God still going to use him? Let's keep reading. Later on, during the wheat harvest, Samson took a young goat as a present to his wife. He said, I'm going into my wife's room to sleep with her, but her father wouldn't let him in. Why wouldn't the father let him in? I get that there's this quarrel between them, but the father actually gave her as a wife, right? Why wouldn't the father let him in? And how much time had passed? Enough time that maybe they would cool off, or too much time? How much time is later on during the wheat harvest? Did we know when is the wheat harvest? Did we know what was happening when they got married? So does that give us any indication how far apart these later on actually is? I truly thought you must hate her, her father explained. So I gave her in marriage to your best man. But look, her younger sister is even more beautiful than she is. Marry her instead. Right? This is her father saying look, too late, already gave her to the best man. How could the father, what were the customs of the time? Could the father just say marriage annulled? All right, on to the next. How did that actually work in their culture? Now, remember, they're Philistines, right? So we can't just look at what were the rules and the cultures for the Israelites. And I think sometimes, didn't even think I was going to bring this. I think sometimes we do that as believers. We think that non-believers, people who don't even know Jesus, people who've never heard the gospel, people who don't understand, we expect them to follow the gospel. We expect them to follow this lifestyle, how we are to live for the Lord when they don't even know. Let's think about that first of all, right? We're trying to push on them a lifestyle that they don't even know. And they don't even serve God or even know who God is. Again, it's so important for us to share the gospel with others, but why are we trying to impose a lifestyle or laws or rules according to God on someone who doesn't have that relationship with God? First of all. Okay, so going back to this, then my question is what were the marriage kind of rules and laws for the Philistines? Did the father, could he just do that? Be annulled. All right, on to the next. Hey, but you can have her sister. I have another daughter. And she's even more beautiful than she is. Marry her instead, right? I feel like I'm not a talk show, like a game show host for her father. Samson said, this time, I cannot be blamed for everything I am going to do to you Philistines. Then he went out and caught 300 foxes. He tied their tails together in pairs, and he fastened a torch to each pair of tails. Then he lit the torches and let the foxes run through the grain fields of the Philistines. He burned all their grain to the ground, including the sheaves and the uncut grain. He also destroyed their vineyards and olive groves. I mean, some of us are yes, wow, okay, Samson, that's what y'all get, right? Some of us may feel like that. But also let's think about this logically and even critically. Then he went out and caught 300 foxes. There's a couple interesting facts that I found when I was like studying and doing some research into this that they may not have been foxes, but more like jackals. Okay. But also, I found it really interesting that the theologians, and when I looked into commentaries and stuff, it says the Bible doesn't say that he did it alone, and the Bible doesn't say that he did it all in one day. You know, for people that are like, there's no way he could catch 300. Okay, well, the Bible doesn't say that he did it alone, and the Bible doesn't say that he did it all in one day. And that just stood out to me as I was studying because, yes, right? I have a lot of questions when it comes to the Bible, a lot of a curiosity type of questions. But we can't add to the Bible. If it doesn't say it, we don't know it. Now, sometimes there are things that we can go and we'll find more details about later, and there's stories that are told later. Great. But if it doesn't say it, we can't, a lot of times, even in comments on here, someone will say like, I think it was because of this. Okay, well, we just don't know. If the Bible doesn't say it, we don't know it. So I just thought it was really cool how the stance was the same when I was studying about this. Excuse me. So he went out, caught 300 foxes, and this is what Samson does. You have to smile as you're reading through this, right? He tied their tails together in pairs, and he fastened a torch to each pair of tails. Then he lit the torches and let the foxes run through the grain fields of the Philistines. He burned all their grain to the ground, including the sheaves and the uncut grain. He also destroyed their vineyards and olive groves. Is this God using him? Right? Is this God using him to rescue the people of Israel from the Philistines? Let's remember the context. Let's remember, they did evil in the Lord's sight. And so then they are oppressed by the Philistines for 40 years. Who's going to get them out of that? And remember, every time the Lord kind of hands them over to the enemy, it's to draw them back to him. Verse 6, who did this? The Philistines demanded. Samson was the reply, because his father-in-law from Timnah gave Samson's wife to be married to his best man. So the Philistines went and got the woman and her father and burned them to death. I didn't see it going that far, But look at what happened here. Look at how this really went. And Samson was the reply, because his father-in-law from Timnah gave Samson's wife to be married to his best man. So the Philistines went and got the woman and her father and burned them to death. Because you did this, Samson vowed, I won't rest until I take revenge on you. So he attacked the Philistines with great fury and killed many of them. Then he went to live in a cave in the rock at Etam. Samson kind of like a loner guy, like he went to live in a cave. Can he not come back to society? What is life really like for him? How set apart is he? How much is he struggling in his life and how he's living and how God, the Spirit of the Lord, comes upon him? Does he feel pressure? Does he feel like he's supposed to be the one that rescues Israel from the Philistines? Or did he want to just have a normal marriage? Like, I'm asking all these questions because I'm trying to understand Samson in what he's doing here. And again, we see that God uses him, yes. But God could have also used him if he did things good, too. The Philistines retaliated by setting up camp in Judah and spreading out near the town of Lehi. Do you know where those are? Right? So this is the Philistines now. This is the enemy. Now they're setting up camp. The men of Judah asked the Philistines, why are you attacking us? The Philistines replied, we've come to capture Samson. We've come to pay him back for what he did to us. So 3,000 men of Judah went down to get Samson at the cave in the rock of Etam. They said to Samson, don't you realize the Philistines rule over us? What are you doing to us? Wow. Let's slow this one down. So the Israelites are under oppression of the Philistines. Samson is doing his darndest to try to rescue the Israelites and fight back against the Philistines. Then he moves up into a cave. The Philistines come to Judah, right? People of the tribe of the men of Judah, and they ask, and they start attacking Judah, the men of Judah, the tribe of Judah. And so then they say, hey, why are you attacking us? We've come for Samson because of what he did to us. Oh, okay, well, we'll tell you where he is so that you can stop attacking us. What? Isn't that crazy how this happens in like our day today too? And I think we can even examine ourselves in this. They were so under the rule of their oppressors, the Philistines, that they gave up one of their own, that they like almost cowered in. Isn't it crazy how, like, let's just talk good guys and bad guys for a minute, just for the sake of an example. But that like the good guys all of a sudden start helping the bad guys, right? Like Samson is the one standing up for justice. Samson is the one fighting back. And now the people who are part of Samson's community are now saying, oh, well, we're going to turn on you because we're actually going to help our oppressors. We're actually going to say that like this is actually wrong. What? It happens in our day today too. So 3,000 men of Judah went down to get Samson at the cave in the rock of Etam. They said to Samson, don't you realize the Philistines rule over us? What are you doing to us? Don't you realize that they rule? Yeah, I do. And we're not supposed to be here. And they're not supposed to be ruling over us. And God is using me to destroy them and to rescue you. Don't you realize that? Like, don't you realize I'm here and the Lord is trying to get us out of this? And whereas they're like, don't you realize that like they're our masters and we got to do stuff for them? What? At what point are they going to stand up? But the men of Judah told him, we have come to tie you up and hand you over to the Philistines. This is Israelites, the men of Judah. We've come to tie you up and hand you over to the Philistines. All right, Samson said, but promise that you won't kill me yourselves. We will only tie you up and hand you over to the Philistines, they replied. We won't kill you. So they tied him up with 2 new ropes and brought him up from the rock. As Samson arrived at Lehi, the Philistines came shouting in triumph. But the Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon Samson, and he snagged the ropes on his arms as if they were burnt strands of flax, and they fell from his wrists, just, right? Then he found the jawbone of a recently killed donkey. Picture the size of this, right? Donkey. The jawbone of a recently killed donkey. He picked it up and killed 1,000 Philistines with it. Samson is fighting. I was reading something else that was actually really cool. Oh, by the way, let me finish this chapter and then I'll bring that part up. Okay, so he picked it up, killed 1,000 Philistines with it. Then Samson said, with the jawbone of a donkey, I've piled them in heaps. With the jawbone of a donkey, I've killed 1,000 men. When he finished his boasting, he threw away the jawbone, and the place was named Jawbone Hill. Your translation may actually say what the actual name, but it means Jawbone Hill. Samson was now very thirsty, and he cried out to the Lord. You've accomplished this great victory by the strength of your servant. Must I now die of thirst and fall into the hands of these pagans? So God caused water to gush out of a hollow in the ground at Lehi, and Samson was revived as he drank. Then he named that place the spring of the one who cried out, and it is still in Lehi to this day. That part was really cool to me because it was just showing like Samson's still a human, right? Like even though the Lord is using him to do all of this stuff, don't forget, you still need me. Oh, you're thirsty now, right? Like sometimes it's like God's using me to do all these stuff. Let me not boast too much. Samson just boasted. I just killed 1,000 Philistines with the jawbone of a donkey. I'm this, I'm that. And then the Lord is like, oh, you're thirsty too. Like, please don't forget that you need me. Please don't forget this isn't about you, that I'm the one giving you the victory. And maybe we need to examine ourselves a little bit in that. Right? Please don't forget that the Lord is the one who's given you the victory, who's given you the opportunities for this, who's promoted you to this. The Lord is the one who has come through and healed you. The Lord is the one. Please don't forget. And for Samson, all of a sudden he's like, oh my gosh, I'm so thirsty. Seriously, God, you're going to use me to do all of this stuff and then I'm going to die of thirst? So the Lord came through. God caused water to gush out of a hollow in the ground at Lehi, and Samson was revived as he drank. Then he named that place the spring of the one who cried out, and it is still in Lehi today. Samson judged Israel for 20 years during the period when the Philistines dominated the land. Did you forget that Samson's a judge? Right? Like, I read that sentence and we're not even done with Samson's story, right? If you know of Samson and Delilah, that's the next chapter coming up. But I read that sentence and then I have to be like, oh yeah, Samson's the judge. Like the judges that we've read of, and they judged the land for this many years and this many years. Oh yeah, Samson's a judge. The other judges, they like built up military to fight, right? Like they were kind of the commanders. Samson is doing it himself. He's like a one-man army. Like Samson's actually hands-on doing the fighting. But don't forget, Samson judged Israel for 20 years during the period when the Philistines dominated the land. Samson's a judge. Let's not forget that when we read these stories, when we read this history of Samson. Man, I have some challenges today, let me tell you. Oh boy. You might not want to do this one, but I'm challenging you to do it. Today, forgive. Forgive them. Let go of the resentment. Seek God's will, which is forgiveness. You might even have to do it by will and not by feeling for now. Revenge and resentment is not the way. Remind yourself of that. Remind yourself who your God is and who he has been. Remind yourself of your own testimonies. Today, forgive. Look, Samson got revenge, and God used it, but it wasn't God's will, right? And so for us, we know, because Jesus modeled it for us, we know that forgiveness is God's will. And Jesus commanded, forgive one another, confess to one another, forgive, pray for your enemies, love your enemies. Forgiveness is the way of the Lord. So today, forgive. Let go of resentment. And I know that's just one sentence and it sounds so easy to say and much harder to do, but seek God's will, which is forgiveness. You might even have to do it by will and not by feeling now. A while ago, I shared a video of 5 books that have really impacted my life and my relationship with God. And one of those books is called Forgiving What You Can't Forget. And I'll link it into the description and in the comments for you if you want to check that out. Forgiving what you can't forget. Sometimes I love that phrase of just like, you may have to forgive by will, not by feeling. It could still hurt, but we can choose to forgive, to not hold on to that resentment, to not want to get revenge and need to get revenge, but to truly forgive for yourself, right? Forgive. God, thank you. We worship you. We bow down and worship you as our God, as the Lord of Lords, as the King of Kings, as the Almighty One. Thank you for your forgiveness. Thank you for your sacrifice of Jesus Christ on the cross, who died for our sins. Thank you for that price that was paid in full for my sins. Thank you for your forgiveness. God, I pray over the one watching. I pray over the one listening right now. I pray, God, that they will come to you and that they will receive your forgiveness for themselves, that they will receive your forgiveness and knowing that your word is true and knowing that you are merciful and knowing that you are forgiveness. And God, that they will extend that forgiveness to others. Even when it's hard, even when it still hurts, God, I pray for the strength for them to forgive, to cast out and to push away the retaliation and the revenge in their mind, and to truly forgive, to let go, to open their hands and release it to you to handle. And not for you to handle in a way that we think we know how you should handle it, but that you will be God and that you are God. It is not our responsibility nor is it even available for us to be the one who enacts revenge or even justice. I pray for those to release that today, and that we receive, and that we offer up, and that we give, and that we walk in forgiveness and truth. In Jesus' name, amen. Look, I know forgiveness can be tough. I do. I know forgiveness can be tough. And so I want to recommend some of these books to you that can help you walk in integrity with Christ and help you walk in forgiveness too. And then let's keep going to the next chapter, because now we're at Samson and Delilah.